welcome to the Everfans show. My name is Alex, and I'm your moderator and host. For the new ones coming in this week, if it's your first time, this is a weekly show that we'll be hosting to give you some behind the scene, some teaser, and make some announcements. But we're mainly here to interact with you. So it's simple. When you have questions or comments, you just have to leave it in the chat. And I'll be your voice tonight, so that you're the reason I have a job. We'll take a few moments here and there to answer your questions. So last week, our special guest was Chad. During our Everfans show, we talked about Chad's book, the second one, and we also made some announcements for our musical contest, which actually ended tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm glad to say that we've received over 40 requests. We're going to be going over pretty soon and let you know, because we're on a tight schedule. We want to try to release it as soon as possible for you guys. We also discussed our partnership with Kelly Massil, who's one of the largest LARP swords manufacturer. We're going to be discussing it a little bit later during the show. And we discussed our partnership with Diratia, who's a Republic Czech's historical European martial art expert, who will be a consultant for the short film. I'm glad to announce, I don't know if you guys know, but they will be with us next week. So next Saturday, we're going to be having Diratia, who's going to be coming on our show. But the reason that everybody went crazy last week, if you were there was a special clips that we've shown that got everybody excited. So I think we have it just here. You can take a look.
Clip. Dawson's Audition.
Okay.
Super.
You say the guilds force you to work like slaves, but you can quit at any time and demand better conditions under the law. Dayless truly enslaved all of his people, and any who dared not do the work he ordered were executed.
This is outrageous. Your father would be so...
I am the conqueror! And I tried to kill myself, but instead of the sweet release of death, I was cursed with youth. You want to know what the conqueror thinks of you and your pathetic little cult? Well, here he is!
It's always good.
Yeah,
It's
always.
in my armpits at the end
So
of
there's the Daylen hype. Hashtag Daylen hype. I love it. So today, our special guest is Dawson. The lead actor will be playing Daylen and Marin. So Dawson, you were there last week, so you saw everybody's reaction on the chat. So how did that feel?
Yeah, I've never experienced anything quite like it in my life. It was crazy. It was humbling. I was in the car. My wife was driving, and I was watching the live stream. And you played the audition, and that's the moment where I'm like, "All right, here it is. Is everyone gonna hate this? Is everyone gonna hate me?" But instead, the reactions were overwhelmingly positive, and that just warmed my heart and inspired me in ways that I really never felt before as an actor, as a person. Because no matter how much positive feedback I get about what I do, about my art and my craft, I definitely always have self-doubt or just feel like, that sucked, or I'm not great, or whatever. So to see everyone reacting positively, that was awesome. And I cannot wait to get on set, to have spent more time with the character, to have studied the book more, to be in the costume, to have the weapons, and to be there in the moment with the other actors. I mean, it's just, I can't wait.
Well, the discussion today would have been very different if... sorry, I think it cut...
We can't hear you.
Yeah, you're good. I just wanted to thank everyone for being so kind to me. That meant the world. That was one of the greatest moments since my wedding day, I would say, in my life.
Oh, and
So we're gonna go right away. I just want to put you on the spot, here. Brush your shoulder a little bit. So we have Bam that says awesome, Rebecca, perfect delivery. Alex Anna that says well done, sir. Mason who says I got chills. And they're asking also how many requests did we get before we picked Dawson?
400 exhaustive requests. All that, we went through all of those in actually a week, so it was crazy, but like Dawson is just way good, like way too good. And once we saw him, we almost knew right away it was him, but yeah, we still had about 200 to go, so but still, he's amazing.
We had to give everyone a shot. Yeah.
Really bad lighting. I need to adjust. Sorry. That's better. A little bit.
Much better. Yeah.
So I just want to let everybody know. So we have questions pouring in. I'm writing them down. We're going to be getting to your question pretty soon, but I want to start with asking Dawson, how did you hear about the casting?
Yes, so I have been a fan of Shadiversity for probably 2 years, and I saw him post one day, hey, there's a production company that is going to be making a short film, and here's how you audition. And I looked at that, and then I just kept looking at the cover of the book because I have it, and I was like, well, for one thing, they need that. Oh gosh, what's that actor from the Spider-Man movies who played? Wow, James Franco. Because the guy on the cover of the book looks like James Franco, but James Franco's too old to play Daylen. And I just kept looking at the book, and I was
Told
thinking,
yourself, I look like James Franco. I can't do this.
No, just I knew I had to do it, but. You know, when a famous YouTuber that I love from the bottom of my heart, and like a dream would be to meet him, to work with him, to work on his novel, to make a film of it. And because, I mean, my lifelong dream, the reason I wanted to be an actor was so that I could be in medieval fantasy films, things like Lord of the Rings or you know, Star Wars. So he posted that, and I was like, thousands of people are going to audition for this. This is not going to happen to me, but I have to try. I mean, you don't know unless you try. So I sent in that first audition tape, got a call.
So I'm just going to stop you right here, just because I want to make sure that everybody gets that. We've got a few mentions that there's an issue with the sound, and we can't hear like Dawson clearly. Somebody even compared it to a washing machine. I don't know if do you have earphones we could plug in? Maybe to hear you a little bit clearer.
You know, I can go get some, and I'll see if they work. And I'm apologize for that. It'll take a minute.
In the meantime, I can ask you a couple of questions to you guys, because one question that is mainly here is they're asking if Dawson's going to be doing his own stunt.
Well, it is a plan. It depends, obviously, how good he will be, because there won't be a lot of time for him to practice, obviously, since it's shot in Montreal, and we'll have him for about maybe a week or two. But yes, actually, I heard that he's already practicing for sword fighting and even hand-to-hand combat. So maybe he's gonna be doing his own stunts. Maybe.
Yeah, and he was talking about James Franco. And actually, when we discussed before the casting with Shad, Shad said that if James Franco was younger, he would be the perfect fit for Daylen. So it's not just Dawson's imagination.
I think
the bad noise comes from you, Dylan, because once you started talking, I could hear that sound, the thing that sounds like a washing machine.
So do you guys still hear it? I think it was my air conditioner.
Seriously?
So it's pretty hot down here in Montreal right now. I'm pretty cozy. I have a guinea pigs in my room, so I need to keep it quite cold here. So she's very comfy. So that was the reason. But I think she can endure it for the time of the show. So did the noise stop?
Well, right now it's stopped, yeah. So that's good. Actually, since...
so Daylen, you can come back here. It was me.
I'm not...
Dawson, it was actually the sound was coming from me. It's the AC in my room. So
Is it better
Wow.
now?
Can you hear me?
No, I can still hear it. It's when Dylan talks.
Okay.
so the people online said it was quiet now, so we're just gonna start to
Well,
picking it up.
That's it.
So sorry that I interrupted you earlier, Dawson.
Oh.
So we were actually discussing about your casting, so we can pick up from there.
Yeah. We're all human. We're professional, but you know, I'm I didn't bring my good headphones on vacation with me, which was a mistake. But okay, so we're all good. The question was, how did I hear about the casting? Yeah, I saw Shad post about it, and I thought thousands of people are gonna try to audition for this thing. This isn't something that happens to me, but I'm gonna try anyway. So I auditioned, and I got into, and then I got another audition, and then another audition, and you guys kept me on and off Zoom calls for about 4 hours for that third audition, and then at the end of that, you're like, "So you got the part." I didn't cry on the spot, but I definitely, like, when I left, I just sat with my wife for a while and was like, I can't believe it. You know, I can't believe it.
Actually, funny story about the auditions. And we thought it was really funny because at the second audition, once we were done, Dawson, before leaving, he just said, "Okay, guys, love you, bye." And it was really funny because it just came out really naturally. But yeah.
You have no idea how to prepare for that kind of thing, because like I was having difficulty like sleeping that whole week of auditions, especially after getting past the first one and getting another audition. I was like, I couldn't believe that happened. And just the thing that kept that kept me awake was like, okay, so many of you have probably seen the Joker film, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and there's that scene where the Joker is imagining being on the Murray show or whatever.
Yep.
I was basically fantasizing about that with like meeting Shad, because I was such a big fan of Shad. And I was like, Dawson, you can't keep thinking like this, because it's not going to happen. So just put it out of your mind, assume you're going to fail. But then here we are. So like I cannot stress enough how much of a dream come true.
Now I have to stop you. You should never assume you're gonna fail. You should always put all your heart and energy into it, thinking that you always have some chance.
I agree with that, but there's another saying that I like, which is the person who has no expectations is never disappointed. So I don't know. I like to do both. I like to do both at the same time, which is go at something with all of your heart and soul. You're in it to win it. You're in it to win it, but like somehow at the same time, what's this the name of the wind magic that Pat Rothfuss writes about, where you split your alar into two pieces and believe two contradictory things at the same time. Like believe you're gonna win and believe you're gonna fail. I don't know. That's what's kept me alive and relatively sane throughout my acting career. And my lighting is being whacked too now, so I'm sorry guys. I'm in my parents' old house. They just moved, and so this place is empty, and I've got no good lighting.
We're gonna try to forgive you for your lighting.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm
It's
an
fine.
actor, not a lighter, or a whatever they're called.
I also blame the lights for my paleness right now, so it's fine. Just blame it on the lighting. Okay, so before we continue, I sent you away to get some earphones because of my AC. We were actually discussing stunts, and because it's a main question that's here. Some people are asking if you're going to be doing some of the stunts, if you have any training.
So I definitely want to do all my own stunts. That's always been something I want to do. I took a few, like a month or so of historical European martial arts training about a year ago, when I was just starting to get into HEMA and all that stuff. After becoming a fan of Skallagrim, I was like, I have to try this. But just due to financial reasons, I wasn't able to continue. But now that I'm in this, I mean, if you guys support the Kickstarter enough and we make just tons of money, y'all are going to be able to pay me so well that I can quit my day job building cubicles and focus on becoming a sword master 24/7. Because that's my dream right now. I want to get home from vacation and train with the blade.
How would you feel training with Adoria if we can get Adoria on the sets with you?
That'd be, I mean, a dream upon a dream upon a dream. I mean, it just keeps getting better. So I'm definitely not a HEMA master right now. I'm not even like very experienced, I would say, but I mean, I'm going to work my heart out, whatever it takes, to make sure that the choreography looks great and do as much training as I can beforehand. So yeah.
Okay, so we did talk about the book, and you mentioned that the book was sitting there beside you when you knew about the audition. But what was your first impression of the book?
My first impression of the book. So that I was working actually at a Barnes & Noble. I was a barista inside of a Barnes & Noble when I got the notification on my phone that showed the thumbnail of Shad crying and saying that his dream came true and he just published his novel. And I sat there at my little job at Barnes & Noble and just, I ordered I went over to the kiosk while I was working and I was like, scoot over, I need to order this book quick. And I ordered it instantly because I'm on top of acting, writing is actually, it's a dream of mine. And it's something that I had little faith in and I actually had given up on for a long time. I just thought I was a horrible writer. But hearing Shad's journey of like how much writing meant to him and how much he pursued it and worked hard, no matter like how hard that journey was. And then he finally published that book. That was so massively inspiring to me that I ordered the book on the spot. And I read the first actually 50 pages before I put it down for a while. I think I got to the part where he described people having green hair and I was like, that's weird. I don't like green hair. And just like life came up. It's very hard for me to finish books these days. And I had been trying to like read The Lord of the Rings and I've been trying to read Lord of the Rings for years and years and years and can't get, and I love it, but like just finding the time to read has been difficult. So I had read the beginning of Shadow the Conqueror. I love the premise. The premise is incredible. The character is terrifying and fascinating, and the world is brilliant. And I love listening to Shad's videos about world building. So once the audition happened, once I got the part, I started reading the book and I finished it in a couple of days. And wow, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about the book. I mean, mostly like, I mean, I love the book. But I have a complicated relationship with it because of how complicated the character is. And I mean, you know, I don't want to spoil anything about the script necessarily, but like the fact that it was a rapist, I don't think comes up in the short film. Like that's not addressed, if that isn't too much of a spoiler to say.
Well, one thing I can say is that in our contract with Shad, it's written that we can't show any nudity. So
yeah,
and we discussed it last week, me and Francis with Shad actually, and we were talking about if we were to do a full feature film, would we include nudity with like the Turasians, because.
So let's make sure we avoid any spoilers because we have some people on here, so let's just keep it as soft as possible in regards to like some parts of the movie.
No, I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just it's something that's prominent in the Turasian culture of the book, and Shad is reluctant to include nudity in film version. In writing, it's different than when you have to show it. That was how he presented it to us.
My lighting is so bad. I'm sorry, guys. This is.
It's because the sun is moving, so your lighting keeps kind of changing.
Yeah, by the end of the live, we'll see the full house.
That's worse.
So Sebastian is saying, would we be here if we hadn't read the book?
That?
So
that's better.
A lot of people that are on the stream right now or have backed us up, haven't read the book, so they're here because they're fantasy book enthusiasts. They like fantasy movies. Some even opted to wait for the short film before actually reading the book, so they want to see how the short film turns out. No pressure here, guys. Before they actually decide to read the book.
The short film
here,
will be
Emilio's right here, and he hasn't read the book. Rebecca as well. So thank you for supporting my points here.
The short film will be nothing short than amazing, and you will have to read the book afterwards. As simple as that.
So I even saw a comment saying that we were over budget. It's not that we're over budget. So we established for ahead of time the budget that we need to make a really good 15-minute short film of select scenes. But we have those stretch goals. So if you go on a Kickstarter, you'll see those stretch goals that will allow us to invest more on the effects, CGI. Also, if we get far enough, we'll be able to even extend it the time. So go from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. And anything beyond that, we'll use the short film as a proof of, we want to use the short film as a proof of concept to be able to eventually get even more budget to do a full-length movie. So whenever over budget, it will all be smartly reinvested.
Yeah, at 65, we're actually pretty tight on the budget. The more we get, the better we'll be.
That's something I can address. Like the budget, it might seem a lot for most people. $65,000 is a lot of money, but when you're talking about a film where one costume might cost $6,000, and that's just one costume, and you need, let's say, 3 versions of it to have it for the stuntmen and for when you rip it apart, and you need 3 versions of that costume, so 3 times $6,000, and then same thing with the sword. It's things that add up rapidly and that get to an enormous amount.
Yep, it does. And to answer, I think, Ghost Ranger, well, the part we're gonna adapt from the book is, well, I'd say what, 5% of the 5% of the book, maybe 5. Yeah, it's a really short part.
It's a few chapters. It's a few chapters that we're adapting from the middle of the book, and the idea is to be an introduction to the story of Everfall, to the story of Daylen the Marin, without spoiling the book. And we want it to be done in a way that people that didn't read the book will understand the story, and it will tease them to everything else that is in the book.
Yeah, and it will also tease you on what we can do for a feature film. So it's actually a really good part that we took out of the book.
So we have a couple more questions, but I'm going to keep them a little bit for later because we have something special here. So before coming here, we asked Dawson to share with us some of his proudest realization or role that he played in. So what he didn't know is we actually went ahead and got some of those clips to show you guys. So, Daylen?
So here we're gonna start with one of the short films Dawson has worked in, where he is playing an alien. So let's
let
see
the
that.
video speaks for himself. Go ahead.
Hey, boss.
Brave of you to return here. I assume you have my money.
I lost it. Well, it's not that I lost it, it's just that it's lost. Wait, but I can get it back, no problem. And then some. I will add some.
Why are you here, Marius?
Thought you might like to see me again to display your mercy.
Oh. Crew, how does Captain Anaxagoras deal with deserters.
Shoot him.
Feed him to the Wampa.
Shoot him and feed him to the Wampa.
If there's one thing I abhor more than disloyalty, it is cowardice. Rand.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's just looping. So how was it to play an alien with a mask like that?
it was incredible, and I'll explain what that was.
Yes,
that
please.
was
Yes.
That was a Star Wars fan film written and directed by one of my best friends for the official Star Wars Fan Film Awards, which I don't know if people are familiar with it, but they used to do this almost every year, I think. I don't know when they did the last one, but like 500 fans submit short films and they win various awards, but there's a top 25 that get reviewed by like Star Wars directors and creators that fans get to vote for as audience choice. And that Star Wars fan film made it into the top 25. It's actually the second Star Wars fan film I've been in to do that. So I've been in 2 Star Wars fan films that made it into the top 25 because I have a lot of incredibly talented friends. So I'm proud of that role because I'm proud of my friends who made that. It was an incredibly fun experience, and playing Captain Anaxagoras, the alien with the facial apparatus and everything, was a dream because Tom Hardy is one of my favorite actors, and his performance as Bane is one of my favorite things in cinema. And I remember studying Tom Hardy and his role in that a little bit, and people would talk about Tom Hardy and how he acts with his eyes and how he communicates so much just with his eyes. And I thought, gosh, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that as an actor. So it's really fun to be this evil pirate captain in Star Wars who is, and it's a really funny short film. You can find it on YouTube if you search. It's hard to explain, but maybe we'll link it later sometime. But
We'll put the link in the chat later.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I watched it. Really good stuff.
So I
actually
also
loved it.
thought of Tom Hardy when I saw it, but somebody here actually compared you to Sub-Zero Daylen, which is actually right.
Oh my gosh, Sub-Zero Daylen, that is incredible. I'm watching the comments a little bit. I want to definitely just listen to you guys and like be zoned into the conversation, but it is fun to check on the comments. My friend also who wrote and directed, he was the star in the film, one of the actors, and he thought about auditioning for this actually, but I'm really glad he didn't because he probably would have gotten the part because he's incredible.
Well, look, we have someone that said that you were by far the best actor in the scene, and I have to agree with them. So you would have gotten it anyway.
Okay, if I'm the best actor you've seen, you haven't watched a lot of movies.
No, in the
So
scene,
I'm glad we
not
started with this one.
In this scene.
Oh well.
So I'm glad we started with this one, but we actually have a second one, which is a complete opposite role, completely different. I'm sure you know which one we're gonna show, but go ahead, Dylan.
roll the clip. Western.
That's my favorite one.
Mel Winston Oshko Turbigargo.
Yeah.
That's
I should probably explain that one too, huh?
Yeah,
This
go
one doesn't
ahead.
need explaining. It's pretty
Yeah.
clear what's happening here.
Yeah, well, but I need to plug this because, like I said, I had many talented friends, and one of my best friends and mentors, I was so inspired by him and proud of him when he and his friends finally started their own Magic the Gathering channel called Quest for the Jank Lord. And they wanted to do live play of Magic, but also have like a really interesting story with compelling storytelling and cinematography. So he asked me to be in one of the sketches for their YouTube channel. And that was just an absolute blast to shoot because I'm a huge Red Dead Redemption fan and everything. So to be able to put on that costume and I'm proud of those roles because I'm proud of what it was to work on them. I've been in a couple other things that I am really proud of. I wasn't able to get clips from them. Shadow the Conqueror will actually be my second short film adaptation of a novel. I was in a short film adaptation of a book called Oh My Stars by Lorna Landvik. And that was one of the best experiences I've had as an actor. Working with Danny Glover was pretty cool too. Not to name drop, that sounds terrible, but so I'm proud of a lot. There's a lot that I'm proud of, but definitely these short films for YouTube, just, I don't know.
If I were you, I would name drop Danny Glover all the time. Like, that's for sure. We have a couple of people. So before we continue, I just want to mention it because I think everybody on the chat loves your beard because everybody's asking like if Daylen's going to be getting a beard in the short movie or incorporating it in the book number 2.
I think Francis should answer that.
Unfortunately, he won't have a beard. But yeah, this is something that we can always go to Shad for and tell him that they love the beard and they love Dawson with a beard, and so they would love Daylen with a beard, and maybe getting a beard in the second book would be good. But not in the short film. He won't have a beard. He will look like a baby.
Can I answer a question I saw real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone asked me what my favorite type of sword was, and I love this question because Shad and I have the same opinion. My favorite sword of all time is Anduril from Lord of the Rings. I have the LARP version of it. It's just beautiful.
So we have Rebecca who's asking, actually, what's the title of the movie you were in? The, I guess, second one, the clip?
Oh, the second?
Yeah. Rebecca, which one do you want the title of? She's like, yes, the second one.
The second one was called The Winston Draft on the channel Quest for the Jank Lord. And then my wife, who was nearby, wanted to remind me that what the other novel adaptation I was in was called Oh My Stars.
And that sounds like a love movie, like a love book. Was it a love book?
It was partly a love book, yes.
Okay.
Very romantic, very beautiful, beautiful story. I would highly recommend it.
Do you have any idea when it's going to be released?
To the general public, no. Which is probably my fault for not keeping in better touch with like the director and the people involved. The book, of course, it has been released for years, and once you're done reading Shadow the Conqueror, I would definitely recommend Oh My Stars by Lorna Landvik. Beautiful, beautiful novel. Sorry, I just dropped my phone.
All right. So we actually wanted to talk about the posters. So,
Oh, Danny Glover was not in Oh My Stars. Danny Glover was in
a
Christmas Break-In, a different thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
Somebody correct you. Is that your wife who texted you and said you're wrong?
No. Yeah, that's my wife. Come. She says no. And for my wife to introduce herself, you all need to tell her to.
So you wanted to talk about the poster, Alex?
Yeah. So poster.
Well, I actually want to know like how Dawson felt when he saw the poster for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pretty badass.
the Photoshop artist who did what he did is incredibly talented. That was a very stressful day when like we were in quarantine and you guys were like, "Hey, take some pictures." Because my wife and I, we tried to set up the right lighting. We tried to do a good job, and I'm of course incredibly self-conscious, so I didn't know if any of it would work. I look at it and I go, "What a dweeb," but I mean, other people seem to really like it. So,
yeah, it was done by Benny Productions. I think we can show a bit of his YouTube channel. He's amazing with Photoshop. He does a lot of posters and poster adaptations. Really, his work is amazing. So we thank him a lot for helping us work on this poster. And of course, there's going to be more posters by Benny coming later once we have done the shoot and we took a few photos of Dawson and the other actors.
When you think about it, it's pretty incredible what he was able to do just with like Dawson taking a picture by his wife.
Yeah, imagine with the professional pictures and the sets and the props. That's going to be amazing.
There's a lot of good comments about the posters, so you can give some props to your wife. The hand that's
Baby rock.
And yeah, the quality of the poster is so good that actually my dog, when he saw it, he growled at it and barked at it. He really thought you were in the room.
Yeah, so Francis has it in his background, and I also
Like
have it here.
If I scooch just a little, you look like an angel over my shoulder.
So I'm still waiting for mine. So for the ones on the chat that are wondering, you can actually get your own posters. We've posted on our website, so we have a couple merchandise.
Sure.
So Dawson, if you were impressed by the poster, now you can even have Dawson's face on your shirt. You can have it on your poster, on your shirt, or your hoodie. So we have it right here. If you don't want his face, you can also get just the logo of the movie. So I want to scroll down because there's my favorite one. So not that I don't like your beard, Dawson, or your face, but I love my cats. So I had one made specially for me. If you can put it on. So this is my cat. We have the shadow of the cat cover. So my cat also we took the picture just right here in this room with no special lighting, just like your wife did for you. She was a really good model. So you can get my cat as merchandise, but you can also get the professional posters and t-shirts. So for the one, we're going to be posting the link to the merchandise in the chat now, but it's also under the video.
Je pouvais pas aller chercher mes...
Actually, there is a good question there, Dylan. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it. You're going to be the one saying yes or no. But someone said, can we get sticky bread in the short as a reference or some actually eating it?
We're working on it. We actually are. We have professional bakers that are currently working on a special recipe for sticky bread. Of course, we won't be able to ship sticky bread around the world, but we're going to be able to provide the recipe to people. And it's going to be something very special and something that has our special touch, let's say. But we're going to... next week, we should be testing some sticky bread.
Oh, but a sticky bread recipe is coming pretty soon.
I want to be there. When?
Probably next week.
So I just want to mention to Ian Wagner, I just posted the website for the merchandise, but it's also under the video as well. So if you want to take the time to go look it up after, it's right there. I like some people are talking about my cat now. Cat's going to be doing your
and guys, the Kickstarter still is the main focus. Like, if you haven't donated yet, we would prefer you to go to the Kickstarter than to the merchandise. Like, we get a small kickback from the merchandise, and we did the merchandise because a lot of you asked for it. But what we're gonna get from the Kickstarter is much bigger, and it's gonna allow us much more to build the film. So yeah.
But Rebecca, to answer your question, yes, there will be funds they will, like, the portion that's going to us will go to fund the movie. All profits from the merchandise is going to the short film.
Yeah, and I'll take the time to thank a few of the latest backers. So we've got Brian Kodaski, William Gauthier, Thomas Glavin, and Callum, Jacqueline D. Rock, and Alan Johnson. So these are the latest. Please, so everyone, if you can afford it and want to support this project, go to the Kickstarter page. It's also in the description below. And yeah, I think. Did you have other questions for us, Alex? If not,
well, actually, I wanted to ask Dawson. Do you want to stay for this part? So we exceeded a little bit the time that we had together. Do you want to stay for the Kalamazoo part?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start. And do you know about Kalamazoo, Dawson?
Yes, I do know about Kalamazoo. I've only sort of recently learned about them, mainly through you guys and through Shad. And I own 2 LARP swords, but I'm going to get all the rest of them from here on out from Kalamazoo because they're stunning.
Well, I have a few of them here. I've been...
We can't hear you anymore, Dylan.
Sorry, my mic just dropped. So I have a few Kalamazoo swords here with me. I've been a Kalamazoo fan for many years, so I'm not talking about them because they're our partners. I'm talking about them because I really do love what they do. So here we have an axe, a throwing axe that they make. And I have a few of their swords also. Let me just open their website here. These have taken a lot of abuse. I've used them in a lot of LARPs, and they're still in a very good condition.
They're really one of the largest, like the largest LARP swords, I think.
They're not
I
just
can actually say in North America.
They're not just in North America, in the world. And it's not that they're the largest, it's that they're the best. It's not the same thing. Like, the quality that they make is just awesome. Like, it's full of dirt because I've used them, but it's really high quality.
With the money that you're giving us, we're just getting the best of the best actors, the best LARP swords. We're also getting a Doria consultant. I just want to remind everybody that next week we're going to be getting a Doria coming on the live with us. So just make sure to take the time to subscribe or like our Facebook page, because we'll be back next week with Doria, and we also are going to have James, our costume designer, sometimes next week as well.
So yeah, we're.
So if you want to show us a little bit of the website from Canada Sales, take a look at what they've done so far.
Well, and if you go on their website, the first page, you have exactly the swords I had in my hands. So they're one of the cheapest swords that they have, and still it's a very high quality sword. But they also have much better versions now. The new ones from their collaborations with The Witcher and Kingdom Come are just amazing. Like,
that's pretty incredible, guys. Like, when we think about it now, Dawson, you're also a fan of Kalamazoo. We're gonna be up there right next to like a collaboration with The Witcher. And that's pretty awesome that we were able to make a Shadow of the Conqueror collaboration with Kelly Massil. Not only for partnership, they're going to be making swords that are going to be in the movies, but they're also going to be offering swords to everybody who back us up for $750. Everybody's going to be getting their own Kelly Massil swords,
which will be obviously a sword based on the universe of Shadow of the Conqueror.
Yeah, obviously.
And it will also be exclusive to the movie. That the one that you receive will be exclusive.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking. Of course, Imperius Daylen's sword is going to be amongst the choices, but we are also working with them to build swords from other characters in the book. I won't reveal it yet, but you can pretty much guess if you've read the book. And so yeah, we're working on different swords that you are going to be able to choose from. So you're going to be able to choose either for Imperius or a few other choices. I'm guessing most people will choose Imperius, but still we wanted to offer the option to everyone. And they're all going to be available after that.
So I'm going to take the time to jump in on Facebook because I'm sorry for everybody that's on Facebook. So last week somebody said I look like a squirrel on caffeine because I'm jumping from Facebook, YouTube, trying to get all the questions as much as possible. So my head would go left and right. And now I kind of neglected our Facebook fans. So I'm just going to go back a little. Spencer Baldwin had a question actually about casting. So you mentioned that we would have some swords, about other characters. So he's actually asking, I don't mean to jump ahead, but I haven't seen any news on casting for other characters. So if other people were also curious, is there any news on when those might be taking place or if at all? Personally, would love to have Dawson impale me as his son or turn me from piracy. Okay. I thought he was going to say turn me on. So what do you have to say about that?
We're currently talking to big name actors for the other roles, and we won't say anything because there's nothing official yet. But we're in discussions with agents for the roles of some of the big characters.
So are we able to tease a little which character specifically?
Well, no, I'll keep it a surprise.
No, well,
I don't even know.
Yeah, it's a tight secret. Not many people know.
So there are a couple questions about the swords. The swords you will receive from the Kickstarter will be exclusive to the Kickstarter, which means there will be some special things on the sword that you will not be able to get after the Kickstarter. But there are talks about being able to sell the swords afterwards on Kelly Massil website, but it will look different from the movie. From the Kickstarter one, not the movie one.
I can go a bit more into detail. So it's going the Kickstarter one is going to have a better paint job, let's say. So it's going to have a bit more effects and paint job on it, and it's also going to be laser engraved with both the Shadow of the Conqueror title and Shad's signature. So you're going to have a exclusive piece, and it's just going to be for the Kickstarter backers. So this sword, right now I think we have 35 backers that have gotten the sword tier. So if we only get 35 backers for that tier, only those 35 will have that exclusive sword. So there's going to be only 35 in the world. And yeah.
And we got some question about the lyrics. I know I'm doing your job, Alex, at the same time, but you're a squirrel on caffeine, and you might miss some stuff. So the lyric contest, some people asked when we will be making a decision. So we have to, we still have to review some of them, but I think it's going to be they want my final decision, my final opinion on Sunday. And I think it will be for everyone. Even Shad's opinion will be up for Sunday. And after that, I don't know when the winner will be announced, but it will be. I think it will be shortly after. Since we're on a tight schedule.
So a lot of people were.
Yeah.
So actually, because we have Dawson here, I just want to make sure that we get to cover all the questions related to Dawson. There's a lot of talk around the blue here. So how do you feel about that, Dawson?
I feel great about it. My mom was actually a hairstylist, and I wanted her to do it this week while I was hanging out with them. We didn't get to it. I really love the dark. Okay, so I mentioned earlier in the video that I stopped reading when I got to green hair. And it's just like, it was so like, the world was so real, and then green hair was like such an anime thing to me out of nowhere that I was like, what? But the shadow, he explained it to me that like in this world, there's certain atmospheric and lighting conditions that make people's hair different colors than what we're used to in the real world. And the hair colors in his world, it's not like a neon green. It's like a very foresty or a natural, and the same with the blue. Like on the cover of the book, I could hardly tell that the guy's hair was blue. It's like such a dark, such a natural blue that as long as that is your guys' vision for the character, I'm all for it, and I can't wait.
Yes, it is. Like we don't.
So that answered.
The first thing I said is that I didn't want to have flashy colors in the air because I was like, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, we were going for realistic hair color.
So that answered your question, Ted. So Ted was asking if we would be doing a wig. So we're not.
Nope.
You'll be dyeing your hair. Maybe your mom's going to do it.
If you
soon. Can you try to get it soon? Get a little tease. So the next one that we have, so we actually talked about this. We had a question about the practical effects that would be used. So what are we planning to do to use for this?
Well, if we talk about practical effects, we might reveal too much about the short movie. Like it's easy to say that we're going to use some CGI because we want to show the world as much as we can, and it's impossible to recreate the whole world with $65,000. So we're going to need CGI for that, and we hope to get as much money as we can to be able to be as close to what the book described with the highest quality possible. But we cannot talk about practical, because if we talk about practical, you'll know which scene we're doing. So
well, the people that give a lot of attention to the project might have already guessed which scenes we're doing, but we're not saying it outright. So if you pay attention to small details here and there, you might find out what we're doing.
And we can end on that pretty soon. So we have 6 minutes. I heard you mention that you discussed with Chad. So you got the chance to meet Chad, Dawson?
I did.
So to discuss the Daylen character?
Yeah.
Were you pretty excited? Was it the first time that you get to interact with him?
Yeah, it was surreal. Hopping on the Zoom chat, and he was like talking to you guys, and this voice that I had heard so often and knew so well, and then he's like, "Oh, hi, Dawson," and I melted. I didn't know how to handle it. Yeah, he's incredible, and it was really fun to be able to talk to him about the book, to talk to the author about his character that I am going to be playing. Like that, I mean, it is as insane and incredible as you might imagine it would be. And it was a really helpful and thorough discussion, and I can't wait to talk more. And then I want to say again just how professional and amazing you guys have been to work with throughout this whole process. I mean, auditions were amazing. Getting to hang out with you and talk about the project and your ambition for it and all your aspirations and how well the Kickstarter was laid out and how much you love D&D. Like these guys this film is in really good hands as far as I could tell, and as far as I know of you. So if I were just a fan watching this, I would be extremely hyped. And yeah, since I'm just like a fan who almost didn't even audition, and if I hadn't, I wouldn't be here. Like, I can't encourage everyone out there listening. Like, if there are things you want to do and those opportunities come up, just, you got to take them. Like, you really do need to follow your dreams. Not to be like sappy and motivational or anything, but seriously.
Well, I'll do my motivation speech. Like, what did it cost you to audition?
An hour of my time, probably.
So
during quarantine, so that's basically
yeah. I
$0.
was like, what am I doing? I'm playing Final Fantasy VII or Animal Crossing. I can spare an hour to audition for this film.
Exactly. Like, if you want to do something, what is the real cost to you to just try? And it's the same thing with me when I approached Shad for the project. Like, what's the cost to me to try and approach him for the project? The cost is he's going to say, no, I don't want to support that project.
And we would have done it anyway, but...
yeah, exactly. Because I really wanted to do that project, and I would have done it even if Shad wasn't supporting it. It wouldn't be the same thing that it is right now, but I'm a fan of the book, I'm a fan of Shad, and I'm a fan of cinema. So I wanted to put all of those things together. It would have been more of a fan film and less of something official like it is right now, because now we're working a lot more than before with Shad. We're having very long discussions with him, discussing what the project should be, what he sees for everything. And we really want to get his vision and understand how he sees the project. And of course, we're going to put our grain of salt, we're going to put our artistic vision on it. It won't be a Shad-produced project. It's our production. We are the team that makes this project, but we want to be faithful to what Shad has made and to his universe. And Francis even said it. After that project, we might want to go and adapt some other books, some other fantasy novels, and we want to show the authors that if they entrust us with their project, that we're going to stay true to their vision and not go in an entire different direction like a lot of...
We're not Percy Jackson.
So guys, we have about around 1 minute. We might go over like we did last time, but I just want to make sure I get to some specific questions in regards to the crowdfunding for coming from Brennan. He said, I know you guys want to be crowdfunded and it's amazing we reached the goal, but did you all consider finding backers with a bit more money? So we do plan eventually. So the idea right now is really to get those as 15 minutes or 30 minutes if we get to a higher stretch goal. But this short film will definitely be used afterwards as a proof of concept to get more financing, to get more backers, to eventually either do a full length. I know some of you mentioned to do a TV series that might be better. Who knows? So we're really, right now, our energy is really to get the Kickstarter, get the budget growing with your help. So please share this with your friends. If you already backed us up, that's great. But talk about the project to your friends, even if they haven't read the book. We have many, many people today that mentioned that they haven't read the book, but they're interested in the short film because they like the genre. So share it, talk about it. We'll grow this budget, and then we'll get to this short film, make the best short films possible with the best actors possible, perfect for the roles. And once that's done, we're going to be moving on and trying to use that to get even more budget to get to visit more of Everfall. So unfortunately, we have to end it now. I want to thank Dawson for coming on today. I really hope that you can come back in the next few weeks. I think everybody enjoyed having you here.
Yeah, I'll be here anytime you want me. I love you guys and love the fans, so Thanks. Thank you. You're doing great.
So I want to remind everybody, next week, we're going to have Adoria that's going to be coming on our show. So please make sure that you subscribe, that you like our Facebook page, because it's going to be awesome. We're also going to get our local stunts to come and maybe discuss with Adoria for the first time. So make sure to join. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
guys.
Have a good day.